Bismillah. Bismillah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ورضي الله تعالى عن سادة التابعين وعلماء العاملين وأئمة الأربعة المجتهدين ومقلدهم إلى يوم الدين أما بعد Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Alhamdulillah. You know what I'm going to ask you to do? Share the video. If you're watching on YouTube, share the video on your social media. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel so that you will get notifications every time that we post a show, a program, a class. And when you subscribe to our channel, you know, YouTube, you not only have to subscribe, you have to hit that little bell, that notification bell, so you can get a notification. Anytime you subscribe to a YouTube channel, you subscribe and you hit the notification. Likewise, here on Facebook, press like on the video and share it. And I'm asking you to do this regardless if you are watching this video live or you're watching it later on, because we don't take down our videos. So you can always watch these videos later on. So you may be watching this video tomorrow, next week, next year, and you hear me saying like, subscribe, and all that. Please like, subscribe, and all of that. Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Zakaria. Alhamdulillah. It's good to see you. Alhamdulillah. Nadira. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Waiting for my wife to get ready to come on. Alhamdulillah. I want to say Eid Mubarak. We're in the season of Eid. Regardless if you celebrated Eid on Tuesday or Wednesday, Eid al-Adha is a 3-day celebration. The Eid, the celebration we just had, unlike Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Adha is a 3-day celebration. So for us, this is our second day. For some of you, this may be your third day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Alhamdulillah. The Half Your Deen show is the name of the show, rather, is inspired by a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who is reported to have said, whoever marries a righteous wife has completed half or a portion of his deen, so let him fear Allah for the other half. And so most 99% of our subject matter here is in some way, some shape, some form or fashion connected to marriage. Even if it's not directly connected, it's usually somehow connected to marriage, family, and all of these type of things. So this is why we named the show the Half Your Deen show, just to remind us of that hadith. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dorahim, my brother Gulam, and my brother Abdul Kareem. Alhamdulillah. My wife's computer, she just messaged me. She said her computer's acting slow, so she's ready, but her computer is not cooperating. That happens to me often. I think the next computer I get is going to have a ridiculous amount of RAM. So it doesn't matter what type of functions is going on. I need a lot of memory to do what I need to do. I don't care if it's doing an update or the antivirus software is working in the background. I need room to move. Alhamdulillah. So that's one thing I want to keep in mind for my next computer. So that's what's holding her up. Alhamdulillah. So while we're waiting for her to come on, I need y'all to interact with us, because this is not a show for lecturing. This is more like a conversation. So I want to know, how was your Eid? Where did you do it at? Where you from? All that kind of information. So tell me in the comments how your Eid was. I know here in Pittsburgh, for my Eid khutbah, I really talked about how we have to sacrifice, because obviously the whole theme of this season is the sacrifice of Prophet Ibrahim, Sarah, Ismail, the whole narrative, the whole story, every rite of Hajj and the Eid and the sacrifice, everything is about sacrifice. But more or less what I was talking about in the khutbah, the point that I really wanted to drive home was that we have to sacrifice of basically our time and our wealth and our convenience in order to lay it down for our children. Because, this society is not, is not conducive to Islam. And so we have to be assertive and we have to push for our Islam. And so, but a lot of times we're only thinking about ourselves as adults, and a lot of times we're not thinking of our children. And so, I was remembering how growing up as a child, a non-Muslim child, how I remembered, the Christian holidays and stuff that we had, Christmas and all that kind of stuff. I was remembering that stuff and the nostalgia that accompanies it. And then I'm thinking, like, our children, they have to interact, some children more than others. They're going to be interacting with non-Muslim children. And non-Muslims they make a holiday out of everything. All right. Even Christmas itself is not even a Christian holiday. It's a pagan holiday that's been made into a Christian holiday. And so, but the point is, you get gifts and stuff, and giving gifts, it softens the heart. So, we get gifts and stuff like that. And so, like, how many Muslim children grow up, interacting with non-Muslim children? They were like, man, I got such and such for Christmas. What did you get? And the Muslim child is like, oh, nothing. We don't celebrate Christmas, right? And then, obviously a conversation starts. Why you don't celebrate Christmas? Well, when is your holiday? When do you get gifts, right? These conversations is happening all over the place. Now, imagine if that child comes from a family where the adults, the parents, is not forward thinking, and Eid or more times than not is going to fall on a weekday or work day. And the parent is not like really gung-ho about it as Islam. He's kind of like nonchalant, right? Is it far? No, it ain't far. So I'm going to work, right? So during the Eid, you and your wife or you and your husband always working. It's just a regular day for everyone else, everyone in your family. And your children grow up without having no Eid memories. And, they have to interact and they're embarrassed. We only have 2 holidays, right? And every year after year, the children is saying, well, we didn't get any gifts. We don't celebrate that. Well, what do you celebrate? Well, we have 2 holidays, but my parents don't celebrate, right? My dad went to work. My mom, she had to go to work, right? And so I was saying, my point is that a lot of our children are growing up and experiencing this. So that means we have to sacrifice. We can't let them think that Islam is boring and it has no life to it. There's no celebrations. All we do is pray and starve ourselves. No, man, that's not Islam. But for a lot of our children, that is Islam. All we do is pray, wake up early in the morning and pray. Wake up even earlier than that for a whole month, once a year, and don't eat. And then when we finish it all, we don't even celebrate. My dad go to work, my mom go to work. We don't never get any gifts or nothing, right? Can you imagine if a child is growing up like that, where everybody else, even people in the hood, is getting gifts, new sneakers, new phones, and everything, and our kids are just there like, I don't get nothing, right? So, as parents, as adults, we have to be thinking not only about us, we have to be thinking about our children. And that's really a sad point for a lot of us. Most of us are only thinking about us. And we have children, and we ain't thinking about the children. Not thinking about the children at all. No sirree, Bob, as they used to say. Anything, children? What children? It's about me, right? I got to get this money. I'm going to work. No, they want a roof over their head, then they won't worry about no Eid or nothing like that. We can't be people that think like that. It's going to affect us in a bad way. Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Rukaya. So this is kind of like the message I wanted to get out during the Eid khutbah, because I noticed, you know, I've been, an active Muslim my whole Muslim life. I've been a Muslim leader, even if I wasn't always an imam. I've been a Muslim leader and active for most of my Muslim life, right? And I'm noticing a trend, right? Number one, if the Eid falls on the weekends, you get bigger numbers, right? It's always been like that. And I think that's bad. Whatever day the Eid fall on, I think the Muslims have to fall on a sword and, like sacrifice that, right? Make the Eid happen, right? But even now, even if the Eid falls on a weekend, most Muslims now, more Muslims, I don't say most Muslims nowadays don't look forward, don't celebrate, don't practice, don't attend the Eids like they used to do 10, 20, and 30 years ago. This is what I'm noticing. They say we have more Muslim numbers. Well, that's right. The Black Muslim community is disintegrating. It's imploding. The immigrants are having more numbers, right? I remember African American Black Muslims, we used to have, depending on the season, because I think I've seen, since I've been Muslim, I think the calendar has completed itself, I think. I have to look. I have to find out when Ramadan and the Eids came when I took Shahada in 1991. I think, because the lunar calendar is 11 days shorter than the Gregorian calendar, right? And so everything in the Islamic calendar comes about 11 days earlier than it did the year before. And so the holidays move throughout the seasons. I think I've been Muslim long enough that it completed the calendar. I think this time now is about the same time that we was doing Ramadan and Eid when I took Shahada. But back during those days, the Eids were big. You could not do them in the masjid. And for me, I'm talking about the mid 1990s. There's no way you can do an Eid inside the masjid. No, you wouldn't be able to fit. You have to do it. If you did it in the masjid, you have to do it in the masjid and block off the street. And which is what would happen. You would have, if the weather wasn't good or something like that, because it's sunnah to do the Eid outside in the open field. So as a reminder to you all, when Eid comes, right? When Eid comes and you have the ability, do the Eid outside. It's the sunnah. Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Don't do it in the masjid. I was in the masjid this year because the grass was wet. It had rained the night before, so it was kind of wet. Well, we usually do it outside, but we had to do it inside. So bottom line is, a lot of people ain't doing Eid like they used to, and people are not even excited about it anymore. Right? And we doing this, and we're not taking in the fact that it is a stressed sunnah. It's like in that category that's like, it's not sunnah, it's not fard either, but it's like right here. Like move my hand. It's like right here, like almost fard, and we still treating it like, go to work. Right? Is even menstruating women were told to come out to do the Eid, right? We don't think about these things anymore, and we're going to pay the price for it. Our children are going to be the result of how we were lazy in our deen and how we didn't want to put in the work to establish the deen. Our children are going to pay the price for it, and by means of them, we're going to be affected. Alhamdulillah. Welcome. Remember AOL.com? When we used to have AOL? Welcome. Welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Samira is here. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Alhamdulillah. Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh for everyone that tuned in and gave the salams. And assalamu alaikum to those that are on YouTube and who is watching right now. MashaAllah. MashaAllah. Glad to be here. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I was asking our family to comment about their Eids while we was waiting on you. And Abdul Rahim, he said, Alhamdulillah, here in Kansas, it was great. I tried to take pictures, but was running my mouth also. Here in Kansas, we finally made history by which African Americans shared in leading the takbirat, plus ate lamb a lot and still eating on it. Allahu Akbar. Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Abdul Kareem said, I'm in Delaware by way of Philadelphia. I attended Masjid al-Kauthar here in Wilmington, Delaware. It's one of, if not the only, Black Sunni-based masjid around. Alhamdulillah. I gotta ask you about that masjid because I used to work in Delaware. By the way, when I lived in Philly, I worked in Delaware, and so I would always, my job, I was always on the road and stuff, and so I prayed in Masjid Kauthar a couple of times, but most of the time I would pray in, I believe the name of the masjid is Masjid Ibrahim. They got another name, Islamic Society or whatever, but it's in Newark. And I always tried to make my way there because it was always open. So when I'm working, if I go there, I know it's open. But anyway, alhamdulillah, it's not too far. It wasn't as active as this year as it usually is. But alhamdulillah, I got to see some of the Muslims in the town. Honestly, it was very bland. Wasn't much of an excitement. No gifts given nor seen. I seen more foreigners and African immigrants more than our own people. I was a bit upset. Yeah, that's a trend going on around the country. That's why I said what I said. I don't know. I remember back when I was living in Philly, like I said, and working in Delaware, and a couple of times I prayed there. I thought that masjid was connected to Imam Warithuddin Muhammad's community. That's the impression I got when I was there, but I don't know. Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Khadija. So I agree. I wasn't going to miss it for anything. I've learned here that once non-Muslims see you compromise on a basic matter, they are hard pressed to let you go attend anything else. That's 100%. I got to put that up there, right? Once you compromise one thing, they treat it like it's like, nah, remember, you ain't do it. Nah, no, you ain't do it before, don't do it now, right? And so a lot of rights and things that Muslims used to have even 10, 20 years ago, Muslims don't have those rights now because Muslims gave it up. And now we got to reinvent the wheel and fight to establish what we had already fought and established for already. Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Abdul Bar, alhamdulillah. Glad you with us. And I hope your foot is okay. Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sharanice Sakina Muslim Fisher. You got any more names you want to add to that, sister? Wa alaikum salam, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Uthman, Bayina. Assalamu alaikum. Alhamdulillah. My Eid was home again. COVID restrictions, so the masjid are closed. SubhanAllah, where you at? Where you live at? I'd like to know where you live at. Alhamdulillah, Habibi. Bismillah. It's on you. Go ahead. You know you want to talk. Go ahead.
Nah, you talking. You giving cook balls before the cook ball.
Now, I'm trying to hold it down for you. You know, you the talker of this show. What's your name mean again?
Be quiet. Let's ask the audience. What does my first name mean? And try not to Google it. Baina said, take your rights. I always take off work. Alhamdulillah. We take off work for other stuff, right? That's important. You know, our deen should be important. She says she's in the beautiful island of Trinidad. MashaAllah. Yeah. And it's funny. Let me start off properly. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa alihi wa sahbihi wa salama tasliman. Alhamdulillahi wa kafa. Wa salamu ala ibadihi alladhina astafa. Amma ba'd. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful, I seek refuge in Allah from the rejected shaitan. May Allah bless our master, Sayyidina Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his family, companions, and give them peace. All praise is due to Allah, for He is sufficient for us. Peace be upon His slaves, whom He has chosen. As to what follows. Did you Google that, Rukiah? You close. That's close enough. Entertaining companion. Night talker. Night talker.
Hey, I need to ask you a question, Habibati. Did you know what your name meant before you chose it?
Yep.
Oh, so you chose who you really was, huh?
Night talker.
I don't think I ever asked you that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
You chose your name, right? Somebody didn't give it to you.
No, they didn't give that to me. Mm-mm.
I just learned something about my wife live on air. Alhamdulillah. Somebody gave you a book of names?
Nah, I didn't have a book of names. I don't know where I got that from. Could have been on the internet. I don't know.
We wasn't using the internet back then.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I got it from. I can't remember where I got it from.
I just learned something new. You chose your name, and you know what it meant when you chose it.
Yeah.
I chose my name too.
Alhamdulillah. Now there's some people that choose their name, and you could tell they didn't know what it meant before they chose it, or they didn't know the significance of their name, to which it has to be, said a certain way. Like a lot of brothers have, the names of Allah, Rahim, Malik, you have to put Abdul in front of that.
Well, not every attribute you have to put Abdul in front of it. Like the ones you mentioned, you don't have to put Abdul in front of those.
Why not?
You don't.
Why not?
I can't just give you, I don't remember off the top of my head.
You saying something.
No, I'm serious.
Abdul Malik, you don't have to put Abdul Malik, Abdul Rahim, Abdul Rahman.
Rahman, you got to put Abdul.
Why?
I forget off the top of my head.
That's your homework. But that's what my impression is. If it was an attribute of Allah, you got to put Abdul.
That's the general rule, but there's some attributes that are kind of like exceptions to that. I don't remember the reason why off the top of my head. But, it's funny you mention that because... oh,
my God, Khadija.
Khadija, where my dinner at? You announced it last time. Now you disagree, probably. Yeah, that's right, Samir. You're the one who disagreed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So disagreeing private, you're Khadija. I don't know if you remember, but the brothers gave me a book of names to choose my name, right? So it boiled down to 2 names. Right. And so I figured I wanted to choose a name, not that it wasn't what I felt I was. I felt like I wanted to strive to be that. And the definitions in the book were like humble. I forgot humble. I found out later that it's also a level of paradise and all that stuff, but that wasn't in the book. I remember humble was there. I'm drawing a blank now. So I chose that name, right? I was going to choose the other name that I was going to choose was Fahim, right? I said intelligent. Well, like maybe that's a little bit arrogant. I'm trying to be humble, so I chose Naeem. Right. So I chose Naeem. And then one of the brothers explained to me about the attributes of Allah. Now, either he explained it wrong or I didn't understand what he was telling me. So Naeem is not an attribute of Allah.
No.
But the way I understood it at the time, I said, so, okay, so I got to put Abdul in front of it. So, okay, so I chose Naeem. And then so I said, okay, since I got to put Abdul in front of everything, I'll put Abdul Naeem, right? That was the name, right? Abdul Naeem, right? And then I thought my understanding was correct. So I said, oh, okay, Abdullah, right? So Abdullah Naeem. I don't think I have it anymore. I think it got messed up in the fire. I don't, but I had it for a long time. My first Quran.
Mm-hmm.
So then my name that's written in there is Abdullah Naeem. Then a few weeks later, when I got the understanding, okay, of Allah's attributes, and okay, I understand it now. So like I started before, Naeem. So I just put a comma right in my first Quran. So it says Abdullah, comma Naeem.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Alhamdulillah.
Wa alaikum salam to Barakatuh, Sophia. Thank you for joining us this evening. Alhamdulillah. It's such a blessing. I hope you thank Allah that you are here in whatever capacity. I hope y'all all took inventory of all the blessings that you enjoyed this past week since we were last together up until now. Wow. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, the football that you gave, alhamdulillah, subhanallah, it was fire. Not because you gave it, but it was needed because we're slacking. And a lot of times the reason why we're slacking is because we weren't taught properly. And you weren't taught the purpose behind or the context behind it. If people were to be explained that, then maybe it would have been more, significant to people. Like this Eid is the biggest of the both Eids. People ball out for the Eid al-Fitr, and then by the time Eid al-Adha rolls around, like, oh, here we go, another Eid. Well, I'm not going on Hajj. It really don't concern me, but it concerned all the Muslims, whether you went on Hajj or not. And so that should be just as important. But this Eid is the biggest of the Eid. And what made my heart smile is that one of my children was so excited. It was like, when is Eid? How many days? Okay, so if today is Thursday, then that means, they're counting the days like I used to do for Christmas. We all know Christmas was the 25th. So, you have a calendar, or you marking down the days up until that time. Can't wait to open my present, even though I knew what I was getting before I opened the present, because I went and out for them with my parents to put under the tree.
Help wrap the gifts.
Yep, help wrap the gift. Well, that's under the tree. So all I was doing is waiting. And then, me and my brother, we were a piece of work. We used to sneak in the middle of the night and play with our toys and then rewrap them. So, when the wrap on the day of Christmas, we were Bishop. One time it's time to unwrap the presents. The tape, the tape is on. You know how tape gets when it. So, but we were young. Okay, we were young. I'm thinking maybe we were like, I don't know, 6 or 7. But that excitement, that looking forward to that. That's how our children should be. So when Christmas and all these holidays that come around, there's a holiday for everything. They got a holiday, Bigfoot holiday, right? Scratch your back holiday. They got a holiday for everything. Like every day, if you look up online, there's a holiday for every day of the year, right? So when when the Eid comes, your children should be excited, and they should know the difference between the Eids, not to be like, well, I'm not going to pay attention to Eid al-Fitr since it's not the bit. No, you have them to be excited, but they look forward to that every year. So when other kids ask them about their holidays, they can say, hey, let me, that's what y'all do as Muslims. Oh, okay. Y'all don't celebrate Christmas because you have Muslims, a'udhu billah, that celebrate Christmas because Eid is important. You understand? They celebrate Christmas because the Eid is not enough. They don't ball out on the Eids. And I'm like, are you serious? Are you serious? And you see this a lot among certain groups. I ain't not gonna mention that. I haven't seen no black people doing that. I haven't seen black folk. So I'm gonna leave it right there.
We're getting close though.
So
we are getting close. We're using Kwanzaa as a segue to get that way. We moving there though.
SubhanAllah. So we got to.
When you was talking, when you talking about how you was opening gifts and stuff. My grandmother scared me when I was little, right? Because my father's mother, my grandmother, used to usually come with to the house. She still lived it down south, and she would usually come up for Christmas, right? So to scare me to not sneaking downstairs and opening the gifts, right? She said, well, if you come downstairs early, Santa Claus is gonna come and he's going when you little you believe Santa Claus. If you catch Santa Claus is gonna put salt and pepper in your eye. I still remember that to this day.
So
never mind the fact that we ain't got no chimney, no. We got a chimney, but we didn't have no open fireplace, right? None of that stuff, right? You believe but you believe this stuff, right? Like, okay, I'm gonna discipline myself and stay in my bed, even though I'm up all night, right? I will stay in my bed because I don't want Santa Claus to put salt and pepper by eye.
SubhanAllah. And like this, we can take this to this is a whole conversation. This is not what the topic is for tonight. But those with children, please eat special. Decorate your house. Like, you don't have to put a tree up. Put some decorations up. Just so it can have that feel when the Eid comes around. Like, go all out. Yes, you may go to a masjid and they have a celebration, but have it home. Show the connection between your house and the masjid. There should be a connection. It should be streamlined. Whatever you do in the masjid, you should be doing it at home. I'm hoping that's what we're doing. And if your house is not, if it doesn't look like a masjid, meaning there's no worship going on all year, you need to, there's some things you're going to have to, work out. And then you wonder why certain things are happening is because you're not running your household or establishing that atmosphere of an Islamic household. And then you wonder why the kids going buck wild or they want to do all types of crazy things. It starts at home. I know it's a lot, to swallow. It's a big responsibility to be parents. Parenting never ends, even when they get grown. But that's something we have to really, look into and try to figure out and learn what it is to learn to try to do that. It's all about seeking knowledge. And when you don't seek knowledge and you trying to, shortcut or whatever, then guess what? You're gonna be shortcut. You're gonna shortcut yourself. You're gonna shortcut your children. You're gonna shortchange your children. And that, like the Imam said, when they get older, like, I'm glad I'm out the house. I'm gonna just do what I want to do. Let me read some tarot cards. Let me go to a soothsayer. Let me go to this person to read my prophecies and stuff. I will do that. And in these schools, when they go to college, I hear a lot of parents. They're more concerned, and I'm digressing. They're more concerned that education, that child completes the education, get that 4-year degree, than more concerned with that than if they know their Salat and know their Lord. That's more important to them. Because in their mind, well, they're going to choose whatever route they want to do, but at least get that college degree. And in these schools where they be getting this college degree, they practice black magic a lot. I was speaking to a parent, and her child do not like the school that she's in. And they practice black magic. all up in there. So you go into an environment where they don't teach God in the school. Rather, they teach you to question God. They challenge you. That's why the way they have their curriculum set up, that you have to bring evidence, support and evidence. You got to be able to prove something with something that is tangible, not intangible. This is dangerous. And when you have not prepared your child for this, they're going to get caught up. Then they start questioning everything. So this is a snowball. Y'all think this is small. Oh, just eat. No, this is a snowball effect. When they get older, they're like, this ain't important. What's important to me is what I can touch and see and everything that seems like that's what it is, with the eyes. By that time, they're blinded. But I digress, and I apologize for that. But this is more than just this E. This is just one part of many parts that we fall short, and we see what we see. Stop pushing education on your kids, the secular over Islamic education. Stop pushing the secular education over the Islamic education.
You're the night talker. I don't know why you apologize. It's nighttime and you talking. Well, it ain't technically nighttime yet. It's almost night. It felt like nighttime in here, my little cubby hole. Right.
MashaAllah.
Alhamdulillah. Issa said, hold on, what did Issa say? Hold on. Issa said, I'm back on the market. I thought I had a bottle of jelly and got jammed. Take care of your mental health to make sure you are going about this marriage stuff in a healthy way. MashaAllah. Everything that happens to a believer is good.
Y'all hear that, sisters?
Everything that happened to a believer is good. And this is only the case with the believer. Ajiban lil amr al mu'min. The Prophet ﷺ said, everything for the believer, strange, amazing, is the affair of the believer. Everything for him is khair, is good. And this is the case only for the believer. Hey, I see some hearts go up. Who put them hearts up? that may be for you, Issa. I wasn't looking right. I was looking on my phone. I seen a whole bunch of hearts go up. Okay, right? Everything, this is only the case for the believer. If something good happens to him, he is thankful. So therefore, that's good for him. Some misfortune, something bad happens, he's patient. Therefore, that's good for him. Alhamdulillah. So whatever happened, Issa, that was good.
MashaAllah. Yeah, so subhanallah. Woo!
Alhamdulillah. Speaking about Eid, the motivation for tonight's subject, or tonight's theme rather, not subject, is actually something that happened at one of the slaughterhouses that people go to here locally. Right? Brothers, I wasn't there. A couple of brothers called me and told me a couple of things that happened. And it made me reflect in general. It made me reflect. And I want you to reflect with me, especially if you're in my age group. I really don't know too much about, this latest generation, like the people that are like in their 20s now and teenagers and 20s now. I don't know. I can't really speak for them. But if you are in my, I'm 49. So if you're around my age or a little younger, a little older, I think you might be able to relate to what this incident made me think of. Especially if you weren't Muslim all of your life. Especially if you were not Muslim all of your life. Like I said before, I took Shahada when I was 19. So, I had some life experiences before I took Shahada. And what the brothers experienced made me reflect on something. So, the farm that the brothers go to, it's a small farm. and it's owned and run by a white man. The brother, good brother, you know, I can't say anything negative about him. Good brother that connected us with this farm is Pakistani. Obviously, we're a black community. We say it loud. We're black and up proud, you know, right? So the brothers go there, and it's a small farm, so they got like limited stuff. But the brothers went there. They picked out the animals that they were going to slaughter. Need y'all to follow me. So the brothers picked out their animals. Some of the brothers had slaughtered already, and they're waiting for their animals to get skinned and stuff like that. While all of this is going on, remember, I wasn't there, so I can't give you the details. I wasn't there. I can only tell you what I understood from what the brothers told me. Some other brother came. I think they said he was also Pakistani. He came, and he kind of skipped past everybody. He picked out some of the animals that one of the other brothers had already picked out, slaughtered it, and was skipping some of the other brothers to get the animal, you know, skinned and all that kind of stuff. When he came, he didn't give no salams, one of the brothers told me. You know, I was thinking about this all night. That's the post that I made yesterday. Some of the things that make you mad, make you want to get on about it, right? I posted yesterday something to the effect that you have something ever make you so mad that you want to get on Facebook and rant about it. This is what I was talking about, right? I've been thinking about it all night and all day, right? I'm like, right? And so, you know, the obviously it bothered the brothers. You know, they mentioned something because they told me about it, right? Wa alaikum salam rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Teresa, right? One of the brothers, you know, I was still at the masjid, and one of the brothers called me from the farm, told me about it. One of the other brothers told me a couple of hours later. And so in my mind, right? In my brother come, no salams, skipping people, all that. Samira, you know where my mind went? I'm serious. Samira, seriously, you know where my mind went? You make fun of me all the time. You say it. Can you guess where my mind went? That's a question for you, Samira.
When you was back in high school? Let me tell y'all a secret. This one right here. Wait a minute. This one right here. He was a piece of work in school. I call him a bully. I call him a bully in school.
I wasn't no bully.
You know what?
You got to define bully.
All right. I don't know how it was how it was in your school back in the day. But in my school, I can speak for my school. You speak for your school because I don't know what story you want to tell. Do y'all remember? This was in New York. Y'all remember the first Friday of the first day of school? The first Friday of the week of the first day of school. What would normally happen on that day? Those that like graduated in the 90s, like early 90s, late 80s and such. What used to happen? Y'all might be too young to remember that. But I'm going to give y'all a few minutes. I know there's a delay. What used to happen on that first Friday of the first day of the week? And usually school opens like September, that first week of September in New York, right?
Yeah, like here in Pittsburgh, like here in Pennsylvania, it seems like everybody's school start like one start this week, another one start 2 weeks later. It's weird here. In New York, school always started the
After Labor Day.
After Labor Day, right? Labor Day is always Monday.
Yep, like Monday or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't see any answers, but right, but what they
We used to call it Freshman Friday.
Freshman Friday. Do y'all remember that? Freshman Friday. We used to have Freshman Fridays in New York.
And this happened in junior high school and high school in New York. Like if you was a freshman in that school, right? Somehow, some way, like you was getting beat up. You know, that's like initiation. I think in college they would call it like hazing, like when you want to join a fraternity, sorority. It was something like that, right?
But not only that, do y'all remember the Decepticons? There used to be gangs called Decepticons, right? I don't know those. I remember them. And they used to be rolling deep. There was like 100 of them coming up to the school.
They was the Decepticons. Not only that, they was a deep, but they used to have like garage tools with them, causing hammers, saws, and stuff, like beating people up and stuff with them, right? Well, go ahead.
So what they would do, they would pick out, the weaklings. Used to just punch them in the face. You know, we rode trains to school, so they used to snatch earrings out of girls. They used to just be buck wild on that day. They do it any other, during the school year. But that Friday, you let out at 3:00. It was like a mob outside.
Everywhere, all over New York.
Yeah, and you trying to get home, you poor thing, trying to get home. So this brother right here, well, I'm pointing. This brother right here, it was like Freshman Friday every day at his school. I got to tell this story because I always bring it up. You know what his crew used to do? They used to have like this thing, like a Soul Train line. Y'all remember Soul Train, right? Y'all remember Soul Train? Y'all used to watch Soul Train on Saturdays, right? Yeah, everybody dancing, right? On the Soul Train line, right? Them poor kids. And they would actually be moving like this. They line up 2 lines, moving like this. And they would get it. They would get it. This one right here. He changed his ways, alhamdulillah.
But the point is, moving right along, the point is, for those of you who are old enough to remember, especially if you were like me, you weren't always Muslim, right? Could you, just be honest, let's just be honest. Could you even imagine being in line at a store, right? As a young teenage black person, non-Muslim, and some Arab or some Pakistani or anybody from that wasn't from here just walk by you. We used to call it in New York bogart. Just bogart you. You just walk by and not feel any fear or would even try it. When the brothers told me that, that's what came to my mind. Because especially the school I went to, it wasn't 100% blacks. You had a lot of people there, right? There was a lot of ethnicities there, right? And so, and black people are stereotyped, right? Back then and still now. We're stereotyped of being violent, right? Not all of us are violent, but they say we're violent. They say we're, unruly, right? We're loud and, you want to be around us, right? So, right. In my Jaahiliyyah, I can't imagine someone doing that to me. And if they did it, oh my God. I'm not going to go into stories here because I'm not going to devolve into war story. But I told you a story about another black dude who, like, he walked by me and bumped me. Remember I told you, like, oh no. Right? So in my mind, I'm saying, wait a minute. All of these people, they're afraid of us because we're unruly, we're violent, all of these things they say about us when we're not Muslim, right? They're scared of us physically. They may not be scared of us on paper, right? Like they see us on the street, eye to eye, toe to toe. They may be scared at the moment, but after they call 911, then they get their heart. But just us in them, they scared. They don't want no part of that, right? Even our Muslim brothers, right? When they run up against Kafir black people, they don't want no problems. How is it them same people, when they deal with us, we're the same people, right? But we took Shahada, we Muslim. Now you get to the point where you Muslim and you disrespect us, something that you would never do to a Kafir, because a Kafir slapped I don't know what out of you, right? It might dig your pockets after that, right? You know, for us, it would have been like, you know, what was that movie? I forgot the movie. But when the dude was in the wrong hood, and it's like, yo, ain't that such and such? What do you think? And it was like, oh, it must be Christmas, right? Right? So that's what it would have been like for us, right? And so that whole incident made me think of all of these things and how, you know, us as Muslims, I'm talking about Black African American Muslims, we trying to fear Allah. We try not to go back to our old ways. And so almost every time, and if there are any non-Black Muslims listening, you might get offended, but you need to hear this, right? Almost any time we interact with you, we get violated somehow. Meaning we're not given our Muslim rights. Somehow, some shape, some form, some fashion, we're disrespected. Almost every time. We don't say anything because a lot of times we don't want to take the cork off the bottle so that old person come out and go too far, right? But like sometimes we give the salams and the salam is not given back, or like when this thing happened, like them brother wasn't even there, right? They wasn't even there, right? And so I think, you know, with us, like a lot of us are used to being disrespected by our immigrant brothers. And I think some of us think it's piety, is righteousness to allow other people to continually disrespect us, not give us our rights, and otherwise just treat us like nonsense, right? Imam Amin says, I'm offended. You're offended, brother? Right? Dorahim says, I can relate that right now because it's mostly immigrants here. Some try, most don't. We are really stereotyped. It's not a game. But think about that. Ain't that deep? How if you take the Islam out of it, away from the Black people, and just think back how those same immigrant brothers interact with us. They see us coming, especially if we deep or we look like we in the hood. They'll go the other way. They do all that kind of stuff, right? But we become Muslim, right? They just come out, don't give us no salams, skip us in line at the slaughter, right? Get all kind of bold. It is my opinion that we have to check that stuff. And don't go like overboard like we did in the Jaahiliyyah. Like I was talking to one of the brothers earlier. He might be watching now. I was talking to one of the brothers earlier that it happened to. And I tried to give him a parable, like martial artists. You know, martial artists, especially a good one. Now, I know some martial artists, and I'm trying to figure out how they consider themselves martial artists. No, seriously, I got some martial artists in my mind. I think if I had to fight them, I think I win, right? You don't even scare me, dude. I didn't see your demonstration. I didn't see you in real situations. I don't know. You're not too impressive, right? And I'm in bad shape. I still think I go whoop some of them, right? But right, a real martial artist, if you think about it now, a real martial artist, like I just give you an example. Back when we was living in Brooklyn, right? There's a brother. Matter of fact, I gotta check on him. I haven't seen him on Facebook lately. Brother Bahi. I don't know if he was in the masjid at the time, but A sister came in there after Salat and said this kafir had squeezed her butt, right? Muslim sister. So we all ran out the masjid, but before we got out there was the store next door to it, right? I don't know what. No, it wasn't Shamim's. It was another store right next to it. That glass was shattered, right? And the dude, Bahi put the dude through the window, right? Basically, right? and Bahi's a big, black, dark-skinned brother from Florida, right? And a master martial artist, right? So the dude who squeezed his sister butt, he put him through a window. And she told us we came running right out there. Like we didn't like wait a minute for a second, right? No, we ran right out there. And the situation was already handled when we got out there. But the amazing thing about it is the reason why I mentioned that story, everyone that saw it said it looked like Bahi didn't even touch him. They said it looked like he did like this to him. Like this. And the dude just like went flying back and went through the window. Right? And so, and then that dude went crying to the imam, right? The disbeliever, he went crying to the imam, one of your brothers hit me, right? Beat me up, right? So I'm mentioning the martial artists because martial artists, most of them, they understand the human body on a level that a lot of us can't even imagine. And they know they're measured in, you know, because they can kill you with their hands and make it look like they didn't even do nothing to you, right? And so when you watch them, like for example, doing the demonstrations or whatever, like he's exercising control, right? Because that same move he's just doing on you, he can kill you with that move. But he knows how to do it enough just to demonstrate. He can slow it down and do it and all that kind of stuff. I'm saying that we got to be like that when it comes time to dealing with those situations, because we know it's in us, especially those of us who weren't always Muslim. It's there. We know how to do it real good, right? But we Muslim now. We have some control over our emotions, right? And so we know that Muslims, we have rights on each other. Right. So when we get to these situations like this, whereas in the Jaahiliyyah, we might have slapped him or punched him or broke his nose or broke his jaw and then robbed him afterwards and then jumped him and did all kind of stuff. Right. We would have did all that. But OK, now we both Muslim and, maybe somewhere in your subconscious, you don't think I'm a Muslim. You think I'm a sucker. I'm going to show you enough to let you know that I'm not a sucker. Right. I'm going to show you enough to let you know that I'm not a sucker. Whoa, brother, what are you doing? Huh? Who? What? You just skipped me. What are you talking about? What do you mean what I'm talking about? You just skipped me. And you didn't give me the salams. No, stop. It ain't going down, right? We got to be like that with people. I'm talking about with Muslims. Because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And I mentioned that, and that's why we have the theme of tonight's show is based on the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That's mutafiqun alayh. That's agreed upon. It's in Bukhari and Muslim, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Khiyaruhum fil jahiliyyah, khiyaruhum fil Islam idha faquhu." The best of you, or the best of them in the Jaahiliyyah, the pre-Islamic period, are the best of them in Islam when they understand. When they understand. Let's take a popular personality in Islam, Umar ibn al-Khattab, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Umar's life is very much documented. Umar was tall, as we used to say, he was khakdizu, and he used to wrestle. And Umar was not a sucker in Jaahiliyyah. When Umar became Muslim, his heart got soft. He would cry when he felt that he was doing something and he heard the words of Allah. He would stop on a dime. I in my mind, the graphic representation of Umar ibn al-Khattab is a big 18-wheeler Mack truck loaded down with supplies, stopping on a dime. That's how he was with the book and the Sunnah. Like, a truck can't do that. It takes a truck a long time to slow down. It's not like a car, right? But Umar was that truck. And when the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was mentioned, stop. That's how he was. I said his heart got soft. He didn't get soft, right? Somebody tried to disrespect him when he was a Khalifa. The name escapes me. It's mentioned in Sahih Bukhari. Oh, one of his wazirs had an uncle, and that uncle was one of the leaders of the desert Bedouins who had taken Shahada. The Prophet ﷺ gave them a lot of, money and gifts to soften their heart towards Islam, when he was alive. And this man, well, his name is on the tip of my tongue. He came to his nephew, who was one of Umar's assistants, and worked it out with him to get an audience with the Khalifa. And so he got an audience with the Khalifa, right? He got an audience with Umar ibn al-Khattab, this desert Bedouin, whose name I can't remember. He was one of the tribal leaders. And when he got in front of Umar, he said, Ya ibn al-Khattab, O son of Khattab, you ain't been giving us our rights. You've been doing this, you've been doing that. And a lot of people, when they read that in English, right, they don't understand how deep the disrespect was. Because he called him Ibn al-Khattab. This is a grown man who's a Khalifa. You're supposed to call that man by his title. He's a leader. And according to our hierarchy, living at the time, there's nobody between him and Allah. He's Khalifa to Rasulullah. He's the successor to the successor of the Messenger of Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's Amirul Mu'mineen. You didn't call him by his title, Khalifa, Amirul Mu'mineen, none of that. You didn't call him that. You didn't call him Abu Hafs. You didn't call him by his kunya, which is another level of respect in the Arabic language. No. You didn't even call him, I'm going down, right? You should have called him by his title. He didn't call him by his title. He didn't call him by his kunya. He didn't call him by his name, Umar ibn al-Khattab. He called him like you would talk to a child. O Ibn al-Khattab, O son of Khattab. And then accused him of being unjust in all of these type of things. So Umar ibn al-Khattab stood up. Umar ibn al-Khattab stood up. And everybody knows what that means when Umar ibn al-Khattab stands up. Umar was known during the time of the Prophet ﷺ and after the time of the Prophet ﷺ to put hands on somebody who was violating. Not necessarily violating him personally, right? See, Imam Amin is clowning, right? See. So Umar was about to stand up. Umar stood up. Then that nephew of that man, he said, Ya Amirul Mu'mineen. And then he quoted the verse. He says, verily Allah commands you to be forgiven. And I'm just, the ayat is not in my, it's in the book Risalatul Amrad that we're going in, right? Well, Allah commands you to forgive in all of these things, right? And Then he said, and then the part of the ayah ends, وَعَرِضْ عَنِ الْجَاهِلِينَ, and turn away from the ignorant. And then he said, after quoting the verse, he says, وَهَذَا مِنَ الْجَاهِلِينَ. He said, and this, meaning my uncle, he's from amongst the Jaahiliyyah, right? So look how the nephew intervened. He called him by his title. He mentioned the words of Allah, and then he said, "This dude is ignorant, right?" And Allah said, "Turn away from the ignorant." That's when Umar sat down. And so I mentioned that to give you a real documented example of how this man came and disrespected him, and Umar was about to put hands on him for being disrespectful. Nowhere in Islam says that we have to accept being disrespected. It is not piety, it is not righteousness to allow some other Muslim from another ethnic group to disrespect you. And we should stop tricking ourselves into thinking that it's cool. We need to stop it when it happens. Now, I know some of us, we don't have control yet, because if we let that thing, if we uncork that old Jaahiliyyah, it's going to go all the way. And we have the Soul Train line, right? Some dudes, when you beating up a cat, right? Some dudes, they get into the moment. You got to pull him off of him because he's going to kill him, right? Some of us, we ain't uncorked that bottle since before Islam. And so, we might have to let it out during Islam, and we might not know how to stop, right? But that's why it's important that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam told us. He said, "Laysu shadid bisur'ah," that the strong person is not the one who can fight. وَلَكِنَّ الشَّدِيدَ الَّذِي يَمْلِكُونَ نَفْسَهُ عِنْدَ الْغَضَبِ, that the strong one is the one that can control itself when he's angry. So just like the martial artist, yes, he can kill you real easily, and you really couldn't do nothing about it, right? Especially you right up on him, right? You really couldn't do nothing about it. If you got a gun, he may take it from you, right? You got a knife, he may take it from you. They train like that, right? Especially like you right up on you. I'm not saying every martial artist is a Superman. You might be able to beat up some martial artist because they self-describe martial artists. They really can't do that, right? But I'm talking about a good one, right? But he's controlled. He knows when to stop himself. Like Issa, when we was in Atlantic City, Issa was brother Tanweer's. I forgot. I don't know what they call it, but the one they use to demonstrate on, right? And so that stuff is real controlled. Yes, it may hurt, but it could have hurt. It could have hurt a whole lot more, right? Right? But tap out, right? Alhamdulillah. But I gotta pray. And so the point is, in the Jaahiliyyah, there were some things that people wouldn't have tried on us. We don't need to throw out the baby with the bathwater. We don't need to become punks now because we Muslim. It's not righteous, pious, let nobody walk over you, disrespect you, and take your rights from you, and just all kind of stuff. No, that stuff need to be checked. Umar ibn al-Khattab wouldn't have allowed it. And I can give more and more and more examples, right? Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah, my co-host made a good analogy and presented a good example of this. When I heard what happened, I'm like, why nobody said anything? And it seems like we got this false notion that when you become Muslim, or to be a practicing Muslim, you're supposed to become a punk. You don't have to be a punk in Islam. And Islam doesn't teach us to disrespect one another, or subjugate one another, or oppress one another. That's not what it teaches. It actually teaches the opposite uplifting one another, respecting one another, giving a hand to those that, need it, if they're not at a certain level. So as Black people, it seems like the narration for us is that in order to fit in, we have to accept this treatment. And I'm here to tell you, no, you don't have to accept that treatment. You could put someone in their place nicely and they'll get the point. But the more that you allow this to happen, the more that they're going to disregard and keep doing that. Okay? People are only going to do what you allow them to do. Like this show, Half Your Dean Show, we talk about marriage and family and things like that. Right? Wa alaikum salam to Sister Isla. I just seen your salams. Somebody else came in here too. Who came in here? I don't want y'all to think I didn't ignore you. It's the comments are coming in so fast. Who else came in? I don't know who else. Mashallah. But anyway, the person that you allow to do certain things to are only going to increase that. So we have mentioned, I think we mentioned a previous show, I forgot what we mentioned that, regarding an arrogant person. And it was mentioned that it's sadaqah to be arrogant back to an arrogant person, because they think they stuff don't stink. They don't think they can be checked. And it's dangerous that they don't think that it can be checked, especially if someone try to remind them, of the deen and what they're supposed to do. They don't want it coming from certain people. And that means they rejecting the truth. And they rather, go on their false notion. So with this situation here, and the only reason why I mentioned that Soul Train line, I don't want y'all thinking like the imam just be beating up people. They used to like bullies. They used to bully bullies. So if they noticed there was a bully, they got bullied. And that's how you got to do the bullies. You got to bully them back. Because they only a bully because the person that they're bullying is allowing them to do that. And you don't have to be violent. You ain't got to, do bodily harm and stuff like that. There's ways that you can do it. One way is to ignore people. That's an effective tool. That type of person, they love attention, right? Don't give them attention. Act like they're not there. Act like they're not there, right? You see them acting a certain way, act like they're not there, especially if they're being disrespectful. That is a mercy for you on them to be the same way. Because you're showing them like you're not going to be treating me this way. So this scenario that the imam just mentioned, I was just like floored, and it really got me upset because these things happen all the time. And that's why it's so important. We always talk about it. This new venture that we have right now with the Black Imams Round Table, with the communities coming together, teaching the proper key of Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat, it's important because this empowers us. There's a surah, there's an ayat in the Quran, surah 8, Anfal, ayat 46. I want y'all to look that up. Surah 8, ayat 46. And I'll read the translation for you. It says, obey Allah, wa ati'u Allah, wa rasulahu, wa la tanaza'u. It says, obey Allah and His Messenger, right? And then after that, he says, and do not dispute with one another. The reason why people don't respect us as Black people, because we fight too much amongst ourselves. And then I ain't even talking about just Muslims. I'm talking about Black people in general. This is like the elephant in the room. If we could just work together. How many times we heard that? If we could just work together, things would be so. How many times we heard that? I was in the store and heard that. Right? You hear this amongst us. What's not clicking for us to be able to work together, to stop fighting amongst one another? Our enemy is giving us the tools to keep the fighting going, and we refuse to let go of these tools, letting go of these things that is perpetrating it, that keeps it going. Why can't we work together? Because we've been told that we are no good. We're not, we don't have the right to be respected, to be honored, to be cherished, to be loved, or anything. What does that turn into? Hate. Hatred for yourself. If you hate yourself, you can't love me. If you don't love yourself, you can't love me. You can't honestly say, I love me and I love you too. You can't do that. That's a contradiction. And so once you have that in your heart, this hatred of yourself, you don't think you amount to anything, then when you get around other people, you're looking at them with the same disdain that you see yourself. So you can't work with one another. So here Allah tells us to not quarrel, do not dispute. And this right here, he says it will weaken us. Talking about the Muslims. If we dispute amongst each other, it weakens us. We don't look strong. And guess what? That's where the disrespect comes. Y'all don't respect yourselves. Y'all can't get it together. Y'all need somebody to come in and take charge. That's basically what these white supremacists do. You were not created to lead. You were not created to succeed. You were created to be subjugated. And every time we fight amongst one another, we prove that. And we need to disprove that. And we are disproving that with what we have going on with the Black Imams Roundtable. I don't know if y'all don't understand the significance. This is like something that should, I'm sure, previous, years, people tried to come together, but they didn't do it on this level. They didn't do it on this level. Because before it's more kumbaya, trying to include everybody. And that's another problem. We try to include everybody in what we're doing. Well, we don't even have anything for ourselves, to empower ourselves, to show that this was what we can do. This is how we can build. That we can make something of this. Right? So, subhanAllah. So Allah says, we got to stop fighting amongst ourselves. Because it will weaken you. And when you're weak, people are not going to pay you no mind. They're not going to respect you. And so they think that's a narrative for all of us. It may not be the narrative for all of us, but it is for most of us. Most of us. So that means more of us need to speak up. Like the Imam had mentioned this afternoon, Imam Amin. He was saying to the effect that because people don't speak up, they allow the leaders to be the sacrificial lamb. Meaning, by you not speaking up and supporting your leaders, you allow that leader to get done in and take the fall and be targeted. That's what you do when you don't speak up. If you don't speak up for Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, that's what you do for those. That's what you do to those leaders that are speaking up. And the Imam had mentioned about people being shy. I don't think they shy, because they'll speak when they want to speak, when it's something important to them. Now, there's not nothing. It has nothing to do with shyness. I believe that it's not important to them. People like to be in cliques. They like to be in the know, and it makes them feel good. But they really don't take to heart what's going on, what the movement's about, what the mission is about. They're just there to be there, just to feel good. This is not this type of forum. Yes, we feel good when we around each other and things like that, but there's work to do. And in that work, you got to speak up, and you got to be about it once you speak up. Not just talking, and just, saying these slogans like, we have the slogan, Jahid to Shahid, right? Or 3453. People just say the slogans. But what does it mean to you? What does that entail? Do you explain that to somebody? Because people ask all the time, what's this 3453? Right? Somebody asked me at the picnic. Because they didn't come to the picnic because of barbecue, the purpose of the barbecue. They didn't come for that. So you have people asking, what is this? And then that's the opening. And then when you teach people and you tell them this is what it's about, they're like, So that's why I had mentioned before, if you came to the barbecue just for barbecue, that's all you got is a barbecue. This was like, this was like a informal meeting. If you didn't know, it was like an informal meeting, coming together with people that you've seen online, might not have known personally, and you finally got to see them face to face. So now you know who you're working with. So after that barbecue, it's time to work. Okay, what I do in my city? What is it that I need to do? Like the title of this, the topic for this evening. The best of you in Jaahiliyyah is the best of you in Deen, right? You may have some skills that you can bring over for this endeavor that'll make it successful. It may not been legal, but make it legal. You might have been selling drugs. You know how to move weight, like they say, right? You might have been making cash like $100,000 a week. Bring them same skills, make it halal, and do the same thing. What's the problem? Now this time, you get rewarded for it. You get rewarded for it. So we got to stop compartmentalize our life. Islam is all encompass everything. Your deen evolves around your life, not your life. Your deen. No, I'm saying it wrong. Your life should evolve around your deen, and not the opposite. Your life should not be like the focal point, and then you just see where Islam fits in. No, it should be the other way. Your mind should always say, how can I promote my deen, my belief in the best manner so that I'm doing something good. I'm still earning my ways, but yet I'm promoting this deen to help people, to help themselves. We need to think like that. And you don't have to have a long conversation. And if you feel like you don't have the words, bring them to someone that knows. So if you know someone that's trying to get, trying to improve themselves, trying to improve their life, they trying to improve their spiritual, their spiritual aspect of their life, you would say, hey, in the morning, there's a brother that speaks. He started early, but you might not be able to catch it, but they do record it. Invite someone to listen. Say, hey, on Tuesdays, there's 3 brothers that speak. They're leaders, and they represent masculinity, right? Right? They represent leadership. They represent black male examples, right? And 4, they care about their people. I think you should watch that, because everybody always talking about what we can do or what we can't do. It's always what we can't. It's never a focus on what we can do. And so this is a way that you can give dawah. They don't have to be Muslim to listen to these platforms. They don't. Just have them to listen and let them, use their mind that Allah gave them. Right? And inshallah, this will allow us to grow, because everybody got something to bring to the table. Like we was having a informal meeting the other day. Everybody can't wear all the hats. Like as an imam, the imam had asked a question, like, what do the imams do? Right? They do everything. You saying black imams. What is their responsibility, right? Look, they give the khutbah, they lead the prayers, they counsel, right? They try to figure out how they're going to pay, the bills, the utilities, the rent, however your setup is, with no funding coming in from the parishioners that come in. I say parishioners, congregants, whatever you want to. They try to figure all that. Then they got to run their household, make sure their children okay, their wives is okay, that they have a roof over their head, that the world, the dunya, don't swallow them up because they have all these responsibilities. But yet they supposed to be on their square all the time and serve you, and yet you don't give them the support, financial, or even just promoting it. They don't get none of that, but they're supposed to figure all that out. That's what that's the life of a black he-man. And it's not fair, because we've been conditioned not to respect our leaders, our black leaders especially. And we're taught to not respect the black man anyway, because they mean us no good. That's the narrative. They don't mean us no good. I can't depend on them. I got to do my own thing. And so that segues to something else, right? So whatever skills that you have, don't think of them insignificant. You may not have graduated college. You may not have graduated high school, but you're a numbers person, or you're a great articulator. You know how to read. Right? Somebody like, know how to read? Yes, a lot of people don't know how to read. They know how to transmit. They know how to convey. Right? Break big things down to small pieces and convey. Some people are good with that. They know how to analyze things and break them into parts. And they see how it works and what is needed when they're separate, what each section needs, what is needed for those different sections to come together. So like black people, what is it that we need as a people? I'm asking you this question. What is it that we need to work together? What is stopping us? First of all, what's stopping us from working together? Let me hear that. As black people, regardless of if they're Muslim or not, what is it that's stopping from black people coming together? You put when one of us out late, we should grab the hands of our people and pull them up with us. So Islam said trust, right? What is stopping us? Why we don't trust each other? What is it? What's the trust? Where the trust issue lies? You said ourselves. What is it preventing black people to come together? And why is it a conversation always why we just can't get it together? Why we can't come together? If one person has more than the other, want to hate instead is finding out what's making them become better. Right? SubhanAllah. We got to get that mindset out of here. There's a lot of modern terminology that I don't like. Like you have the counseling culture. Like if you don't like what somebody say, you counsel them. I don't like them. Don't support them. I don't like them. That one thing, I can't take nothing from you. We're not going to agree on everything. We're never going to agree on all together the same thing. That's just our nature. We're not taught to assist one another. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. We weren't taught to assist one another, right? Just looking out for self, right? You have those people, they become, successful and say, hey, I made it. What's wrong with you? Why you can't do what I do? Yet they don't teach what they have, the skills that they have to get where they're going. So they don't want you to be successful. They want you to look at them while you down here. That's the only way that they're successful, that you're down here. We're intimidated by someone being better than us. When we should be the opposite. We should be encouraged. We should be proud that the person that I taught got better than me, because I get their reward. Because they're going to teach somebody else. This is what Islam teaches us. So you never lose when you provide financial support to something that is needed in the community. You never lose. You don't go broke. When you sacrifice Allah's going to return it to you. Where's our belief in our Lord? He makes us make promises all the time, which he keeps. We don't believe what he says. Abdul Kareem says, oh, Khadija said, what was condition within us? Some of us complain instead of finding a solution. No solution, no growth. Exactly. We see each other disposable. And everybody, look at the hadith where Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, the strong believer is better and more love than the weak believer. What's the key word? Believer, right? They're believers. You're going to have strong ones and you're going to have weak ones. But there's good in both. Why your face look like that, Imam? You okay? Alhamdulillah. Right? So everybody's not on the same level. Yet they both are good. They both have good in them. Sophia said, too many do not know the deen. Too many of us are not interested in knowing about Allah and have the deen, how the deen spread by Allah's permission through truly sincere people, the Sahaba. How does that relate to black people? What is it that they don't know? And they're not interested in spreading, unity among our community. I'm talking about black people in general. Because what happened to us in the deen affects us outside the deen, and vice versa, whether you want to believe it or not. And I'm not talking to you directly, Sophia, about that. I'm just saying in general, because we compartmentalize. We try to separate, and that's our problem. They keep their journey hush-hush and call you lazy, and when we need their guidance to get there. And you know what they do? They charge you an arm and a leg and a foot and a brain to get it, right? Join my master class, right? Right? Join this master class. Nothing wrong with that. And when you join these master classes, and this is not everybody, they withhold the most important piece. They keep that to themselves, because that's what allows them to be ahead of you, to be better than you. They can't give you all the secrets. I'm just going to give you a little bit. I'm going to give you all the icing, but I'm not going to give you the cake. I'm not going to give you the beef. I'm going to give you the potatoes and the onions and all that makes the food taste good, but I'm not going to give you that meat, because I don't want you to be better than me. And we got to stop having that mindset, worry about what the other person's doing. That's really hased. And that's a blameworthy characteristic that we have to rid of. Isa said, they see their success as coming from their own efforts. Right? They see it, right, from their own efforts. And nobody does nothing of their own efforts. And that's what they promote. People promote that. I did this because I did that, and I had to do this, and everything is I. Nobody had no say in it. Nobody didn't contribute to anything, right? Kareem said, and we throw each other under the bus after we help someone too much. So, and that means that help didn't come from a sincere heart. We got to be sincere in wanting for our brother and sister what we want for ourselves. Wanting for humankind what we want for ourselves. We got to be sincere about that. If you're not sincere, it's not going to last, and it's just going to disintegrate. You can't build nothing on falsehood. You can't build nothing on deception and lies. And some of us has resorted to that, and they got to keep that up just to keep afloat. So much so, they don't even know a lie from truth from falsehood. They don't know the difference. So their whole life is a lie. They told so many lies to so many people different ways. They can't even keep up with the lies. So now they just got to keep up with the lie just in case. Okay, let me just keep this up just in case this person find out something. At least the lie would cover that. That's my alibi. We got to be sincere people. Black people is loyal. We are loyal to a fault. We love hard. Those are great ingredients to come together and to build. Those are great ingredients. And here it is, Sophia said, we accept the lies of the dunya over everything and choose to be selfish. There's always industry secrets that are never going to be common knowledge. Tell us what sounds nice, but not the seasoning that makes the dish. Exactly. We have to learn so we can learn in a manner to address our issues. That is so important. That's why this Black Imams Roundtable, all the platforms that we have and that we attend is so important for the common people to belong to attend and participate. Because they don't know for themselves. At least they can be shown what it looks like when people come together. A lot of us haven't seen that. Come together and do something beautiful that benefits everybody. What we're doing as Muslims here is a benefit for the non-Muslims, believe it or not. It's benefiting them as well. But if you hear the narration, there's lies that are put out there amongst Black people against religion in general. And that's what stops us from coming together. One of the things. Can't get over that. Because we've been lied to so much. We've been hurt. Right? Our people have been damaged. And we haven't healed from that. And that we're constantly told that that's water under the bridge. Don't worry about it. That was a long time ago. Don't worry about that. And some of us, most of us, can't get over that. Isa said, loyalty to a fault took the words out of my mouth. Exactly. But you know what, Isa? Don't stop being loyal. Because you know why? Because Allah sees that loyal heart. And He's going to repay. He's going to repay that person for doing that. If we stop being loyal and stop being sincere, what kind of world would this place become? It's not going to be good. I was seeing a post today and it had me thinking. A sister was like, basically, she want companions. Like we're humans. We want companionship. Friends, right? Some of us want husbands. Some of us want wives. And we're like, where do we find these? We'll find someone that's good for me. One thing I didn't respond because it was like, it was just like, that's a deep question. And it was like, why you don't, have that relationship? And one of the things was trust, right? One way to meet those people is to involve yourself in something that when you come together with other people with the same mind, that right there in itself will allow you to develop a friendship or a marriage because y'all on the same page. Like this Black Imams Roundtable, like the Have Your Deen show, Postpartum Reflections, right? Scattered Thoughts, all these platforms. You come to people and Allah will draw them near to you. Sometimes you're going to get bad apples. That's life. You can't stop living because there's bad apples. Look at them as lessons. If they never came your way, you wouldn't even know how to deal with that situation when it comes again. So thank Allah for that. How many people we come across all the time and they did us wrong? And you're like, why me? Don't question why me. Say thank you, Allah, because you showed me what I was made of when that happened to me. You showed me that there's people out there like that. And now I know what to do next time when I come across that person again. It's a good thing. Everything that happens to a believer is good. Okay? It's good. Like I was telling somebody, when you are right, when I say right, meaning you right with Allah, and you sincere and you truly want to be a good person, when you come across a bad person, you don't allow them to change who you are. And you'll be able to deal with them even with their bad characteristics in the best manner. So it all starts with you. But Issa said, she said, the act of legalizing slavery was a time ago, but its racist and prejudiced remnants are alive and well. Yes, it's still alive, but people want to act like it don't matter. Don't you know they got a new term now? Like I told you, there's some terms I don't feel like. It's called critical race theory. You ever heard of that, Imam? Critical race theory? What's your thoughts on that? What was your, you don't know what that is? Anybody in the audience? CRT, critical race theory. Have you heard that? That's a new term. It ain't new, but it's been really like pushed right now. And I'll tell you what I think about it. And it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Critical race theory. I'll give you some time to answer. And what's your thoughts about it? It's this think tank that these scholars come together to basically, right, basically try to justify why they don't give its importance. So when a black person complains about racism or being marginalized, they can say, well, that's not really true because of such and such and so and so. Because we have these things in place that couldn't possibly be be justified to have that feeling that it does exist. And it's like they trying to just erase racism or what black people go through. Like it's not even a real concept. Like it's not a real concept. Racism, white supremacy, and all that. They got this think tank to disprove that. So if you come up and complain about it, something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the system. It's you as an individual. When we know this thing is systemized. It's a revisionist tool to make history, make it seem like it never happened. Exactly, Sophia. My sister, my master's degree. Don't you have a master's degree, Sophia? See, she intelligent. I don't have a master's degree. A revisionist tool. And that's what they're trying to do with this Islam. That's what they're trying to do in Islam. They're trying to say that black people never had a place in Islam. And the way it's being taught now, this is the Islam that you're going to get and you need to accept. It's more popular. And if you don't follow it, then you're not even a real Muslim. Exactly. They want us to forget about the past. Language to avoid the consequences of their behaviors. Exactly. Clean up their mess, right? Based upon gaslighting as well. Apparently, we're their mess, right? So you gotta have insight. You can't be these type of people y'all just see with the eyes. You gotta see with the heart too. You gotta see with your heart. And if your heart is jacked up, you're gonna miss a whole lot. You're not gonna be able to contribute. You're not. That's why you have to cleanse your heart. That's part of those 3 parts. Those 3 parts of our deen. Those sciences. You got the Islam, you got the Iman, and you got the Ihsan. Those 3. It's not 2 of them and you just do one, or you do one and not the other. You got to have all 3 to be a whole human being, an upright Muslim, to be the perfect Muslim. That's what we strive to be. Even though we may not become perfect Muslims, but we strive to be. And that's what Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'at, with the correct belief. That's what's going to help you. Some of us, we don't think that's important. And that's why we're in the situation that we're in right now. I don't know where my host came from. He went to, rather. He just disappeared. Where you at, Imam? He just disappeared. But, oh, there you go. Did you have anything to say about that? No, he look like he tired. And it is about 10 o'clock. MashaAllah.
I was trying to figure out how the conversation got where you was going. I was trying to make the connection from when I left to go make Salat to where it is now.
I had asked a question. Why black people can't come together? That was a question.
Why did you ask that question?
The reason why I asked that question is because it's the same question we ask as Muslims, why we can't come together and work together, right? We have all these skills and things to contribute, yet there's something that's prevented us from coming together to allow those skills or whatever that you had, you know, those special talents that you had before to bring them into the deen.
Well,
I just started out with the non-Muslims. I just started black people in general.
Why do we get there?
From your thing.
We was talking about the best of you in Jaahiliyyah or the best of you in Islam, right. You understand?
Right. So I was starting off with the Jaahiliyyah and then showing the correlation with those in Islam when we work together. What's preventing us from working together? No, I understand. You just need to rewind. My audience understand why I asked the question.
Your audience?
Yeah.
I think the key part is what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said at the end of that portion of the hadith when he said, "Idha faquhu," when they understand. A lot of us don't understand. You know, recently a few different brothers asked me similar questions. Muslim brothers asked me in their own different ways, coming from own different angles, how do I interact with a Muslim woman? And the question was like, I mean, like she's not another. I know they got like a million genders now, but she's not another gender. And in real life is male and female. The Muslim woman is not she's still a woman, right? And a lot of times the question reminds me of when, you know, my Islamic journey started in prison, in incarceration. And so you learn things from books, you learn things from teachers or whatever, but it's like, okay, now you're free. Now, how you get a wife, right? And so a lot of times newbies or new shahadas who don't have, you know, any marital experience, a lot of times that's how they think. Like I had all these girlfriends, but I'm Muslim now. How do I interact? Or how do I get a Muslim wife? These type of questions I've been getting. Sometimes it's brothers that, you know, man, they may have not just taken Shahada, but this may be their first time trying to get a Muslim wife. And I point that back to the hadith. The best of you in Islam or the best of you in Jaahiliyyah when you understand. Or the best of you in Jaahiliyyah are the best in Islam when you understand. Islam is like a filter. A lot of people think, okay, here's Islam. Let me throw out this bathwater and the baby and start from scratch. It don't work like that. Islam is a filter. You look at the religion, the deen of Islam, the Sharia, like a filter. And you pour what you already have through it. And whatever gets caught up and trapped by the filter, that's what you throw away. And you keep everything else, right? And so, okay, you knew how, I mean, in the Jaahiliyyah, did you know how to talk to women and girls? Yeah. Okay, well, it's the same thing, except, you know, you don't disrespect them, you don't be alone with them, you know, just all of those things you used to do before that got caught up on that filter that you can't do now as Muslims, but everything else do the same thing. People be looking for like a hadith that's going to explain everything, right? The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said in Sahih Muslim that if you want to meet a sister, go to the Ibab, or if you see her on the side, just I don't know what they expected. I don't know what kind of answer they want, right? Right? I mean, we are human beings. Islam don't stop you from being a human being, right? How do human beings meet, right?
Right.
Islam is not a line that you walk on. Islam is a lane, and you stay in it. You don't cross. You don't go too far to the right and too far to the left. You just stay in the lane, right? People look at Islam like a line. I got to walk on this line. No.
Exactly.
It's between two lines. It's like a lane when you're driving down the street, the highway, right?
Mm-hmm.
The lane is not the exact width of your vehicle. You can move a little bit to the right, a little bit to the left, and still be in the lane. It's the same thing with Islam, but we don't understand it like that. And so, and we don't want to learn.
Nope.
So when we interacting with the women or trying to interact with the women, we don't know what we can and can't do.
Exactly.
And I wanted to mention that before we got off because this show wasn't about the brothers when they went to the farm and whatever. But again, it's the theme. In the Jaahiliyyah, you wouldn't allow that to happen to you. The brothers that experienced that, there wasn't no suckers in the Jaahiliyyah. I don't read them as being cowards in the Jaahiliyyah, like somebody you just walk up to and slap in the face. I don't think none of them was like that, right? But in Islam, right, I don't know what to do. What would you do if he did that to you in the Jaahiliyyah? Stop him. I would have punched him in the face too. All right, well, you can't do that, but you can still stop him, right?
I don't know.
It's the same thing with this, right? Mm-hmm. With interacting with the opposite sex, right? Okay. Well, when I was in the Jaahiliyyah, I used to do this, I used to do that. Okay, do the same thing in Islam, minus all the haram stuff.
That even spill over like actual relationship. Like you have some brothers think that they can't be friends with their wife. There's nothing written down that says Allah says to be friends with your wife, with your wife, or that should be your best friend. Like they actually think that that's not something that you do because I don't see no ayat or hadith that says that. But it's indicated by the Prophet ﷺ's relationship with Aisha. He loved her, and he did things with her that friends would do, right? But because it wasn't explicit, okay, I ain't gotta be your friend. We just married, okay? We just gonna have babies, and I'm gonna take care of you, but we're not gonna be friends. It's all that extra stuff. I ain't doing that.
We are friends in the bed. Out the bed, I don't know you.
And that's a stale situation in my book. If you can't be friends with your spouse,
we joking, but there's a lot of people like that. They seem to be able to communicate. I put us, or we, all of us, right? We seem to be able to communicate real well in the bed. We read sign language, we read everything, right? But outside of the bedroom, man, she talking, but I don't know what she's saying. He talking, but he don't understand me. He don't listen to me. She don't understand, right? But y'all understand everything perfectly when you're in the bed, right?
I think
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Go ahead. I was muted. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. Tired of your bullying me. The other imams on the Black Imam Roundtable got me going to the store for everything. I'm gonna go for this, go for that, and now you bullying me. Go ahead, you read it. Go ahead, you read it. Y'all mean to me.
I think coaching how to interact as attendants, newly married couples, because it's totally different from westernized methods. Totally. I think that's the key. People got to be shown. People don't even know how to be a good person these days. You see so much evil being propagated, like that's the thing to be Everything is like negative. You hardly even hear any propagation regarding being good, just being a good person. And people don't know what that looks like. They think that's being fake. There's no such thing. And it's bad. So like our children, they're innocent. They still got innocence in them. We have to cultivate that and encourage them. It's okay to be a good person. It's okay to not tell lies. It's okay, to be honest. Even if things don't go your way, still be honest, right? Know your place. Respect others. Respect the elders. We have to cultivate that. And if you don't have kids, do it for yourself, right? Teach yourself. Learn how to be a good person. Or you may have family members that have children. Teach them. You don't know what makes a good person, think of what makes a bad person, the opposite of that, or whatever Imam said in that one clip bar a few weeks ago.
No, sometimes communication can say, can bring about a lot of fruits. Let's go back to the scenario with the brothers at the farm, right? We know we would have did if we was non-Muslim, right? We wouldn't allow nobody to disrespect us like that because the streets are a jungle, right? If you let one cat walk over you, expect a whole line of other cats to start walking over you. So we know that instinctively without even being able to articulate it. So we put a stop to that real quick if we expect to be out there for long, right? Right. So just using that situation as an example. Stop the brother, right? Assalamu alaikum, brother. You didn't give me the greetings. And now you skip me in line. I'm just communicating. I just want to be honest with you because I got to let it out because I don't want to hold it in and be real mad. But what you just did is making me extremely angry. You know what I would have did to you before I was Muslim? I'd have hurt you real bad, right? Maybe saying it to him like, well, I didn't know, he may know, like, and, getting this out to you is therapeutic for me. It's helping me not put hands on you for not giving me the salams. That's my right as a Muslim. It's skipping me in this line to get this me. Me talking to you is really helping me not physically put hands on you. Right? Let it out. Yeah, there go Abdul Mujib. Let it out, right? Maybe that would help. Like, wait a minute. I'm on the verge of getting beat up, right? And sometimes you gotta let people know, hey, I'm escalating this right now because you did something to me, right? Now, if you want to go there, I can go here, and we can keep going, right? Right? Police are experts at that. They're supposed to de-escalate. With us, they escalate, right? We have to know how to escalate in a controlled way. Like, before Islam, you would have been already on the floor. You'd have been looking for your phone, looking to dial 911. But we Muslim, and even though you didn't give me my Muslim rights, I'm giving you your Muslim rights, and I'm warning you because I'm getting really angry. And trust me, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry. Let's switch the scenario to the brothers, like the type of brothers that say, I don't know how to interact or how to approach a Muslim sister. That may be the way to approach the situation. You know what? This is new for me. Like, instead of holding it in, now I'm trying to get married, but this stuff is new to me. I know how we did stuff in the pre-Islamic period, but I really don't know what to do, how to do it. That's a conversation starter right there. If you say the brothers really don't know, I know you look good, but hey, I don't know what to do. You look like somebody I may want to make my wife, but I don't really know how to go about it. I'm really new to this situation. Sister may be like, okay, well, I can help you out, brother. I understand what you're saying. You may want to go to the imam and let him know. He can guide you the rest of the way. Or here's my wali. Wali's a guardian, right? You're not really supposed to interact with me too much like that, but you can interact with them and he'll show you how to do it, right? Sometimes expressing yourself, even expressing your ignorance or lack of knowledge of how to do or go about a situation will help you navigate, right? You understand?
He just spit that. Now don't be saying that to start a conversation when you know what you're supposed to be doing. Allah knows your intention. You talking to the sister. You know what you're supposed to do. So don't be trying to use that line. No, not you. I'm talking to the brothers in general.
Like, sister, man, listen. Sister, man, I don't even know what to say. You got me all messed up, man. How can we make this happen? I'm ignorant, right? I used to know something, but I looked at you, I forgot it, right?
You a mess, mashallah. So, alhamdulillah. I hope the theme for this evening made an impression on you as far as don't lose your common sense because you're in the deen. You know, your insight because of the deen when dealing with people. Don't. Well, Dr. Sabir, wa alaikum salam to barakatuh. All I could do this now. I could do that now. Yeah, so when we're in this deen.
Adu Mujib said, nice pickup line.
Yeah, but it is a nice pickup. That's a pickup line, exactly.
Don't tell Sister Anisa I said that.
I'm
trying to help you out, brother.
I'm telling her. He know he supposed to. He knows what I'm supposed to do. But so I hope that this topic help you to, you know, weigh these things and don't just, you know, if some of us was born Muslim, some of us wasn't. Look at yourself, do some self-inventory, see what you bring to the table. And make that work for you. Don't underestimate. Everybody got skills, things to bring. They got all types of things that they can contribute, you know, in a situation. But the one thing I want to stress, you got to be sincere. You got to be honest. You got to be loyal. You understand? If you have those parts, Allah will give you success. You understand? Oh, that's a bit. He gonna use that. You understand? You gotta have that. You got that. Gotta be part of you. And it's not, you know, it's not something. It's not. It doesn't make you weak. And it's not easy to be that way in these days and time. The evilness that goes on. It's easy to be like, you know, I just don't want to. I don't care anymore. You don't sometimes because it's just that bad. But we're good. Black people, we're some special people. And I say black because I'm black. Alhamdulillah. You know? He said tomorrow.
You are black.
Yep, alhamdulillah. Black is beautiful. Like Sheikh Wali said. He said black is beautiful.
Black is berry?
No, black is beautiful. You hear that term. You hear that a lot on, you know, beauty products and stuff. Black is beautiful. You should already know. Whatever you are, you beautiful. Because Allah made you that way, and He didn't make any mistake. You have anything else to say, Iman, before we go?
Just remember that hadith, or that hadith is actually a portion of a hadith. The best of you in the Jaahiliyyah are the best of you in Islam. I know a lot of you heard that before, but don't forget the next line. When you understand, you got to have some understanding. And a lot of us don't have understanding. That's why in Islam, we having problems navigating. We having problems interacting because a lot of times, we think we have to get rid of everything or get rid of nothing. We're extreme. People wasn't running over you. Sometimes you got to use these stereotypes to your advantage. sometimes you have to use these stereotypes to your advantage. Ever since yesterday, I've just been thinking about how immigrants interacted with, or tried to avoid interaction with me and us when we were younger. Extra polite, right? Because they don't want to make us mad. Because, they say we wild animals in the street and we liable to do anything. Gangbangers, and we extra violent and unreasonable and all that kind of stuff. So they get around and they get real polite. No, I didn't mean I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Right? Same people become Muslim. They chest come out, don't treat you like a Muslim, skipping you and all that kind of stuff. He ain't blind. He saw you there. I mean, you ain't got to be a rocket scientist. I know we try to, again, we try to, have good opinion, try to, give people the benefit of the doubt. All of these things that we take too far, we don't know how to apply it. Giving the benefit of the doubt doesn't mean that you try to let them walk over you, especially if it's happening in real time and you pick up on it in real time. Hey, brother, you just skipped me, right? Oh, stop. No, don't do nothing else. Stop. You just skipped me, right? If I'm going to let you go ahead of me, it's not going to be because you broaded me, as a Philly term, or bogarted me, New York term, right? It's going to be because I want to let you go ahead of me. And I'm not feeling real wanting to let you go ahead of me right now. So you're going to get back to the back of the line and you're going to wait like the rest of us did. Well, I don't care what you did. And we can take this all away if you want, my good brother. We really got, because with us, right? Think about it. Be honest, Samira. If it was one of us that did it to one of us, like, hold on, bro, what you doing? You don't see us standing here, right? Real quick, you was talking about that earlier. When it comes to each other, we know how to do it. But when it comes to the other people, we forget, right? In Islam, you have to understand this. We have to recognize our sickness. In Islam, in the Jaahiliyyah, black people, white people, everybody in the middle, right? Somebody disrespect us, we know how to correct that real quick. Black people. In the Jaahiliyyah, we think twice. Oh, he gonna call police. That guy, he got money, and I don't know. You think twice, right? Now we Muslim. The white man has been replaced by Arabs and Pakistanis in our mind. So another black Muslim brother disrespect you. Oh, what you doing? Nah, man. You don't see us in here. Where's your dad? Right? Did Desi Pakistani do it? Like, everybody looking around, talking about the best construction, benefit of the doubt. Did you see what you saw? No, I'm not sure if I saw what I saw. Did you see what you saw? No, I don't know. Right? Nobody know. Right? He's skipping us right now, right? Is he skipping us? Well, maybe, perhaps, he ordered his animal last Eid, and he's just picking up this Eid, right? Maybe he didn't see us here. Maybe he got an eye impediment, right? We got all these excuses for everyone else, but for us, no excuse, brother. What you doing, right? Psychologically, to us, immigrant Muslim is a replacement for the white man, and you see corollaries between us as non-Muslims, the way we interacted with the white dominant society, and now we're Muslims, and now with the way that we as non-Muslims interacted with the white dominant society, we interact the same way with the immigrant Muslim and the Muslim in our Muslim society. It's the same sickness. And we have to recognize the sickness. And we have to know how to deal with it. Like I said, I don't know about this generation, but in our hoods, nobody can come around doing nothing. Are you buying drugs? Well, get up out of here. If you police, let them give you this butt whooping before you go back and report that you got this butt whooping. And the cop and go, get out of here. Get out of this neighborhood. But this another generation. Now they jogging, got their dogs walking around and all kind of stuff. And this stuff is cool with us. And, and then, they tell us to turn our music down. Not us Muslims, but, we gotta act right. It's a different mindset. And we doing this stuff in Islam. And then that in the Jaahiliyyah, okay, some of that stuff may have been negative, but now we're Muslims now, and we're not getting some of our rights, a lot of our rights. I mean, we can make a list, and they're doing it with arrogance, and we sitting there making 70,000 excuses for them for why we're not getting our rights, instead of asking why we're not getting our rights, instead of telling them that you just oppressed me, and I'm supposed to stop you in your oppression.
I meant to tell you, and I forgot, it slipped my mind. You remember Surah 8, Ayat 46? Surah Anfal, where Allah says, obey Allah, obey His Messenger, and do not dispute with one another. Right. That right there, as far as like working together, why we can't, because we fighting amongst each other. They don't respect us. So that was part of the premise I was laying down, because you was looking like frazzled. I got an announcement to make. Got a text today.
Okay.
I want to show it to y'all. Tell y'all what y'all think.
That text came to you?
Yes.
I'm pregnant. It's yours. Is there something you want to tell me that I haven't picked up all these years? Something I missed?
I'm looking like
Samira, I'm asking you a question. Is there something that I missed somehow all of these years? Is something you want to tell me?
Oh my goodness. I'm sitting here cracking up. We gotta go. Until next time.
Alhamdulillah. The best of you in Islam, the best of you in the Jaahiliyyah, or the best of you in Islam, when you understand. Don't forget the part, when you understand, when you understand, when you understand. You got to get knowledge and understanding of this deen, so you know where the boundaries are, and you know where other brothers' boundaries are supposed to be. So you know what to do, what not to do. You know how to interact in situations. The best of you in Jaahiliyyah, or the best of you in Islam. When you understand, when you become Muslim, that don't mean you throw away your good qualities or your characteristics. They are a part of you. Bring them with you.
Alhamdulillah. With that being said, may Allah bless us and forgive us for any wrongdoings and saying of any wrongdoings. May Allah, heal our sick. May Allah have mercy on those who have passed on to the next life, and may Allah have mercy on us when our day comes, and that we're in a good state. One, we're Muslim on the correct Aqidah, inshallah. And may you have a blessed weekend. This weekend at Masjid Al-Mu'min, we have a cookout. Us at 12 o'clock. At 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. Because it's not on the flyer at the time.
No, we're gonna have a flyer, but yeah. So if you out this way, come join us, and and chill, and be with your brothers and sisters, mashallah. And we hope to have a good time, mashallah. That's not gonna be big like Masjid Muhammad of Atlantic City. No, it's real intimate, mashallah. But it's a good way. Some halal fun. Come out and have some halal fun, inshallah.
Abdul Kareem, I'm going to show her when we get off, inshallah. I didn't show her yet.
Mashallah. She said party. Yes. So, alhamdulillah, keep us in your dua. And inshallah, you'll stay in ours, mashallah. And have a blessed Jummah. Send abundant prayers upon the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Read Surah Al-Kahf, mashallah. We're still in Eid, depending on when you started. Eid is like 3 days, so still do the what is it?
Plural of takbir, takbirat.
Takbirat. After each salat, right?
Yeah. For 15 salats after your Eid. In other words, 3 days. 15 salats after your Eid.
Alhamdulillah.
So the last time you're going to do it is for Subha or Fajr prayer.
Alhamdulillah.
on the third day.
Alhamdulillah. And another note, Eid al-Adha is the big Eid. Next year, starting now, plan for a big Eid for the family, the children and the family. Plan now. Plan now for both Eids. But for the second one, let's not fizzle out. Let's stop disrespecting, our deen like that. Let's stop disrespecting our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam like that. And let's stop disrespecting the prophet that was mentioned for that celebration. Let's stop disrespecting him, alayhi salam, Ibrahim, and his son, Ismail, mashallah. Let's stop disrespecting ourselves, okay? We better than that, mashallah. With that being said, subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika, ashhadu an la ilaha anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Wal asra innal insana lafi khusra illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihati wa tawassaw bil haqqi wa tawassaw bis sabr. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, family. Inshallah, until next time.
Bismillah.